I don't know where we going today, family, but we gonna go deep. You hear me? I don't know where we going, but we gonna go deep. Happy full moon, everybody. A lot of things. It's funny how through this healing process, it's always something that may come to surface, depending on how deep it may be suppressed and or buried into the deep crevices or recesses of our psyche. But if you're on the healing process and you're serious about it, things gonna come up. Things gonna come to your remembrance. Probably things that we don't even remember probably happened, in some cases. But it's necessary because our ability to transform our life is already in us. And what's so amazing about that to me is, especially according to the things that I have been subjected to, is that I realize how much is by God's grace. It's not what the devil intend, as we may hear, or people intend, but it's by God's grace and what has already been placed within us that's going to give us the ability to transform our lives regardless of what happened, because it's already in us. Now, whether we do that or not, whether we transform our lives according to what has taken place, whether we heal our lives according to what has taken place, is on each and every one of us. But there's no question and doubt that our ability to transform our life is already in us. I say that because the world ain't got nothing to give us but what's already in it. And people would, and I find that to be the same with people. People can only give you what's already in them. Because if y'all been following suit, y'all heard me say a few videos back that, I was reviewing the concept of why hurt people. And then I also said, because they don't know no better. So when I really sift that up and I chop that up and I apply that to certain things that happened to me, because I came up in one of those households that what happened in the house, stay in the house. But that wasn't always healthy. That wasn't good, especially after being sent to grandparents at the age of 8 and being abused, physically beat for 2 years with the bottom of a carpet about as thick as this Palo Santo, and you beating myself up in my mind, wondering why is this happening to me? Because my dad was hated by the maternal side of my family, and it gets deep, but it had me going through a lot of things for a long time, It's on, and this is why I started out the way I did. This is by God's grace that y'all see what's sitting here before y'all in this light, in this frequency, in this love that I'm able to sit in. Because when I be honest with myself, outside of it being already in me, I don't know how I did it. I've been through some things, you hear me? And I say that because those of you who have children, be careful who you send your children to. Be careful who you allow to have supervision over your children for whatever reason. You know what I'm saying? Because family ain't always what we think family to be. I know it's a touchy subject for a lot of people, but I'm not one of those that's gonna act like I came from like it always been sweet, cause it ain't always been sweet, man. I've been through hell to be in this space of heaven that I found myself in today, you know. But hurt people because they don't know no better. And these are things that I found myself I found being rose up in me. And if something is coming to mind, then it needs to be addressed. It needs to be exhausted. It needs to be exhausted so it don't turn into something else. So, and I ain't always been one who expressed myself in the way that I am today, especially to people that I don't know, you know. But by putting myself in situations, you know, that I know I ain't had no business being in, because I told it anger so long. I told it. I don't know what hate feel like, but so I won't say that I told it hate, but probably something close to it. But I told it a lot of anger for so long, and that anger got me into a lot of trouble. You know, the anger was a part of a lot of the trouble that I got myself into, but it was also a positive side to that anger, like my creativity and different things that I use the anger, different positive things that I use the anger that I carried throughout the years to cultivate and to becoming a better individual, or being better than I never been, or being better than what I came from. And it's still a process in motion. But I have a question. What are you bringing into the world that wasn't here before your arrival? And a lot of that question deals with, for most of us, a lot of our upbringing. Because, as I said before, we either carrying that same thing, or we doing something to become better than what we endure. And that taught me to have boundaries. Because if I be honest with y'all, it was designed for me to be a whole nother person. You know, especially the way that I carried, the anger that I carried. It was designed for me to be a whole different type of person. And I was for a while. Let's be if we be honest about it. You know what I mean? We repeat what we see, whereas we repeat what we hear, whether good, bad, or indifferent. And I did in the positive and in the negative. But today is what counts. I had dropped a short, and what I was talking about in the short dealt with getting caught in feelings when we hear something uncomfortable, but the thing that we may be hearing may be needed, it just may not make you feel good. So it's not about what we're hearing concerning how it makes us feel. It's about what we're hearing and how it gives us the ability to heal or help us heal. So it's important to know what's important and whatever we're hearing, whatever we're witnessing, or whatever the case may be. But as I said, you know, the things that I experienced taught me how to have boundaries. It also showed me what love wasn't. You know what I mean? And it took me a long time to get myself into what love was to me, you know, by the grace of God. You hear me? I say that because you don't know how much people love you. For my case, until you're born, or till you make them mad, or till you tell them no. And that's because people will say they love you, but until we start learning how to pay attention to how that's shown, And if you pay attention to beyond the words, because this is beyond the words, and if you pay attention to how that term translates into your life through actions, a lot of times it don't add up the same way. It don't add up. In most cases, it ain't gonna add up, because we can only put out what's already in us. It's only gonna be a fruit that actually reflect back to you. Or it's only gonna be a fruit that actually can reflect back to you the way you love yourself. And with them few people, one or two things are happening. Either they teaching you how to love yourself and accept yourself from a deeper level, from a deeper space than you used to, or that's what you appeared in those, and that's what you appear in the life of those that you appeared in to teach them. It's only one or two things happening out of this intercourse, out of this interaction. You hear me? And we all in one space or the other, even right now. This is only important for those of us here on Soul Tracks based on the frequency of love. See, I ain't know this in my beginning. We learn as we go along. And when I speak of the frequency of love, I'm not speaking of the frequency of love as a feeling. I'm speaking of the frequency of love as an emanation, as a vibration. I'm speaking to those who came, and more so I'm speaking to those who came to be a frequency of love. Because we're going to go through a lot of shit. Or you have been through a lot of shit to come into that recognition. And if you recognize or know yourself as such, I salute you. I salute you. I don't need to know what you've been through or what you may have had to face to come to that conclusion. And regardless of you, or regardless of where you may be at on your journey at this point in time, I encourage you to keep going. You hear me? You keep going, keep moving. And the reason that I say that, because we can't hide our energy from the universe. We can't hide our energy from the universe. It's always being weighed and measured. It's always being weighed and measured, you know. And just to say a little bit more before I go into the reading, I don't know who you love, and I don't know what you love, rather people, place, or things. But I do know by now we should have enough knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, if not overstanding, to know when it's necessary to disconnect from anything that'll have you, or from anything that'll have you in a lower vibratory place or got you in a toxic place. In layman terms, we have to learn how to love with detachment. And loving with detachment take a lot of emotional intelligence or a lot of emotional maturity. And hopefully we have had enough experiences to be acquiring that or stepping into that. Everybody, that won't speak to everybody. That just won't speak to those who are going through this process called shadow work to go through the process called healing. You hear me? And I don't know why I was led to go there with y'all, but then again I do, because it's a part of my healing. See, This ain't no time to be holding on to certain things or what's the family secrets. Ain't no family secrets. Family secrets got people fucked up. Let's be straight up. Family secrets got people fucked up. You know what I mean? And it's being spread. It's being spread. I'm deep into the psyche of us as human beings, and I pay close attention to people. I pay close attention to the things we do. I pay close attention to the things we say. I pay close attention to the ways that we act. You see what I'm saying? Because of the things that I have been through. But regardless of what I've been through, I always want to be better. At any moment of time, with what I was experiencing, when I was experiencing anything that had me in an uncomfortable place, even when I put myself in uncomfortable places, you know what I'm saying, according to the ways that I acted out, negatively, according to what I was carrying within me. I'm glad to say, I'm glad to be in a way better mental space that I was in my teens. You hear me? Not only for my sake, for people's sake. You hear me? Just a kid, cause it wasn't nothing nice. It wasn't nothing nice, you know. Let me be frank about it. It's part of my process of healing. But I'm grateful. I'm happy. It's a privilege to be in the space of love that I'm in, as a person, and love myself as a person, and love people as people. And that's the topic for the day. That's the reading for the day. Love. Not human love, but divine love. Because it's only that frequency that kept me. This was the whole purpose of a lot of things that I shared. See, love kept me. Love kept me. Love kept me. I don't know who need to hear that, but I'm talking to somebody who love kept, regardless of what you've been through. You hear me? Love, divine love, compared to personal love. Metaphysical meaning of love. Love is a divine attribute. It is an idea in the one mind. God is love, and love is God, or equality in being. The difference between divine love and human love is that divine love is broad and unlimited, a universal and harmonizing power. See, human love is conditional. People gonna love you based on their conditions. People gonna love you based on how they have been loved. You see? And I know that because I did that, because I came from that. You see? As I said in the beginning, you don't know how much people love you sometimes until you're born. And later on, when you make them mad or you tell people no, and then you see who people really be. Human love is based on personality and is selfish, lawless, and fickle. So that explains what happened in the house, stay in the house mentality. Because in a lot of cases, if things that happen in private was put out abroad, people would be locked up and all kind of old stuff. You hear me? In reality, there is only one love. When man expresses divine love in limited ways, he makes a separation in consciousness, and his expression of love is personal instead of universal. Divine love will establish one in fearlessness and courage. For God gave us not a spirit of fearfulness, but of power and of love and discipline. And we can't forget a sound mind. You hear me? By establishing ourselves in the consciousness of divine love, and expressing that love at all times, we are helped to fulfill the command, love your enemies. Do good to them that hate you. Bless them that curse you. And pray for them that despitefully use you. I just mentioned that the other day. The development of love, the development of divine love, has its place in demonstrating supply. The development of divine love has its place in demonstrating supply. Demonstrating, that means action. Don't just tell me something. Because if you tell me something, then I'm going to pay attention to your actions. By establishing the development of divine love, it will have its place in demonstrating supply. When love is established in the consciousness, it will draw to us all that we require to make us happy and contented. All that really belongs to us. So if y'all hear me say I don't want nothing that belong to me, this is the reason why. We develop love in our heart by asking daily that the infinite love of the Father, of the Source, of Divine, whatever you know it as, be poured out upon us through prayer, through affirmation, through meditating, that we are one with and express at all times the perfect love of God. You hear me? So, in all I do, in all I share, I try to do that at my highest ability at all times, regardless of what's going on. You hear me? Regardless of what's going on. I see the mess. I see the mess because I've been through mess. I share things about myself and things that has occurred because I find healing in doing so. It's more hurting to hold it in, at least for me. But I know I'm talking to somebody who holding in something that it's time for them to start releasing by expressing it. Get that shit up off you. Get that shit up off you. You hear me? It'll have you see it. It'll have you on demon time. And during my time, when I was dealing with the things that I'm sharing, demon time wasn't even a word. You hear me? But I was on full. You know, if demon time was a word, when I was going through the cycles and phases and fuck shit that I was going through, man, I don't even think demon time would have been able to describe how I was carrying on. I'm just being honest with y'all to let y'all know that we far beyond and way much more than what happens to us. And it's okay to be able to speak about it. It's okay to be able to express it. You know, it's okay to know that somewhere, somebody may have been through something just like you, if not even worse. You hear me? So I take pleasure in doing this. I take pleasure in sharing some of my wounds, you know, that I had to put Band-Aids on and salve on, because this Band-Aid and salve, this is a Band-Aid and salve moment. You hear me? So I encourage whoever this may resonate with, the way it's resonating in me, to find somebody that you can do that with. You hear me? It's a part of loving yourself. You know, being able to love yourself to share some uncomfortable things in order to help your healing process. So through this moment of vulnerability that I find as strength for me, because that's what made me Saiwoo, I hope I'm a source of healing and help through the things that I have spoke on in this point in time. You hear me? So, with that, that completes the message. I'm just sitting here thinking of a emoji we're going to use for the night. Healing. I think it's a heart that got a Band-Aid on it. You hear me? I think it's a heart that got a Band-Aid on it. We're going to use the heart and put it in the emoji in the comment section. New subscribers. I do raffles at the end of the month. I'm raffling the Crystal Frog 7 Chakra beaded necklace this month. You have to be subscribed. Watch the video. Place the emoji in the comment section, which will be a healed heart. I think it's a heart with a Band-Aid or something on it. And it's simple as that, to be submitted for the raffle. Other than that, feel good for no reason at all. Feeling good is feeling God. You hear me? God is love. You hear me? And love is God. Except no less. What else I want to say? That's pretty much it, man. Balance and harmony, family. Inner work. Inner work. Stillness and abundance, love and light, health and wholeness, 3 times. I appreciate y'all. Oh, I appreciate the donations. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. It's not expected, but it is appreciated. So those who apply, I appreciate the donations. And other than that, family, stay positive, stay motivated, stay inspired. You hear me? Stay encouraged and stay full of love. My name is Saiwoo. I love y'all. Peace.